As the society in the later Vedic age became complex with expensive rituals for attaining salvation, the domination of few varnas over the others, and the imposing of Sanskrit language over the common men made people question the authenticity of such expensive rituals, varna system, and imposing Sanskrit. Many even came up with new ideas and solutions to the problems of the society during the later Vedic age. In this video, we will learn about these new ideas that were put forth by people. These new ideas and questions against the societic rituals were done by Buddha through his philosophy called Buddhism, Jain Tirthankaras, 24 of them, through their philosophy and religious way of life called Jainism, Upanishadic thinkers who were Brahmins and Kshatriyas, mostly who compiled 108 major Upanishads, and through these they conveyed a message of universal truth for people to follow for a peaceful and happy life. Let's learn about these three one by one in detail. The sources that help us learn about Buddha and his teachings are Dipavamsam, Mahavamsam, Divyavadana and Tibetan Chronicles. Buddha was born in Lumbini to King Shuddhodana and Maya Devi on Vaishakha Purnima of 563 BCE. As the legend goes, Shuddhodana checked about the newborn prince with the astrologers, and the astrologers said that the prince would either become a world conqueror or a sage renouncing everything. Shuddhodana was happy and unhappy at the same time with regarding to the statement of the astrologer, because as a king in future, if he conquers the world, the reputation of his family, Shakyas, would be sky high, but if he becomes a sage, then it would be the opposite of what a king desires. Right from his childhood, Siddhartha remained detached from the rest of the world, never interested in playing, learning, or any other thing. He always used to sit in one corner of the palace and think very deeply about the life. His father never allowed him to go out of the palace, fearing he would become depressed, seeing the problems of the world. He grew up leading a very lonely life, sitting somewhere in the corner of the palace and thinking deeply. When he was around 29 years of age, one day, secretly he went out of the palace in his favorite chariot to see the outside world for the first time. This is a very important event in Siddhartha's life, as the events unfurling his life remained there outside the royal palace on that night. It was a full moon night again. When he came out, he saw 4 different kinds of people. At first, he saw a sick man with diseases lying on the street. The moment he saw him, he felt really bad and worried that someday, what if he also gets attacked by diseases like this? As the chariot kept moving, he then encountered an old man with wrinkles all around his face, who was even unable to move or walk properly. Siddhartha was further depressed and questioned himself, what about myself when I grow old like this old man? Slowly, the depression started to increase. He then encountered a dead body being carried by people to the graveyard. The moment he saw it, he completely broke down and started weeping for the loss of the life. After some time, he regained strength and asked the charioteer to keep moving. He then saw a man who was blossoming with happiness and had a blissful charm on his face. He was so energetic and happy. Siddhartha, seeing this man with such a happy face, couldn't control himself in going and meeting him. He asked that man, "Oh great charming one, I've seen 3 different people today and all of them looked unhappy and terrible. What is the reason for your happiness? Kindly enlighten me with this drop of knowledge." For this, the happy man replied, "O Prince, I have no attachments in life, no pressure of wife, no pain of children's upbringing. I have nobody to look after, I have nobody to worry. If I like to drink water, I do it. If I like to eat something, I eat by begging someone. I have no one stopping me like a wife or children or parents in doing what I want to do. Apart from that, this happiness that you see in me is because of gaining knowledge about different things that I learned while meditation." Finally, he said that he is a sage and has renounced the world. Listening to this, Siddhartha decided that he would become a sage and that it is his purpose of life, and went back to the palace in a very joyful mood. On a Vaishaka Purnima again, he came out of the palace, leaving everything, and started walking southwards towards the neighboring kingdoms, and he sat under a peepal tree in a place called Gaya in Bihar and started meditating, and after a few days he realized he got the enlightenment and called himself the Buddha, which means the one who got the buddhi or knowledge over senses. He then started moving from place to place and kept giving sermons to groups of people gathered. With more number of sermons that he was giving, his followers also kept increasing. People were so mesmerized by Buddha with the way he was talking and inspiring them to do good things in life. Not everyone have this ability to mesmerize others. Only few get this ability to do when they gain true knowledge on various things. At one such incident where he was giving a sermon and hundreds were listening to him in a village, an unfortunate incident happened to an old lady named Kistogami, where she lost her son as he passed away. She kept weeping for the loss in a very sensitive way. Looking at her loss, a neighbor advised her to go and meet this godlike looking man called Buddha, who is in the village and giving a sermon saying he might bring him back to life. Hearing this, the lady quickly started running towards Buddha, and when she met him, explained him that she lost her son and requested him to bring him back to life. Hearing this, Buddha with a charming smile replied Kistogami, "O unfortunate mother, do not worry. I will bring your son back to life." On hearing this, she jumped in joy. Buddha continued, "I will bring your son back to life if you will be able to bring for me a handful of mustard seeds. A handful of mustard seeds from that house where nobody ever died in their family." Without realizing what Buddha asked, she started running from house to house and street to street in the village, but of no use. She finally returned and explained Buddha that she failed to bring those mustard seeds as someone or the other at some or the other point of time died in every house. Buddha then said, "Then why are you crying for your son's loss? Everyone has to die. The moment people take birth, the only thing that follows them is death. Not name, not money, not even wife or children. It is waiting for everyone from behind. Your son's turn was today. Someone else's turn to die would be tomorrow. This is the reality of life. When this is the reality of life, why do you weep?" Hearing this, the lady gained courage and went back to her house and performed the last rites for his son and realized the truth of life. Through this incident, we can understand one thing about Buddha. He could have simply said, "No, your son can't be brought back to life. Everyone has to die in this world." No, he did not do that. Instead, he made that lady realize the reality of life. This is the greatness of Buddha. He made everyone realize with the reality of life. That's where he is so special, and that's why he gained lakhs and lakhs of followers, that even today we talk of his greatness. So, what were his teachings essentially? Are his teachings so great that people across the country still follow them? In fact, Buddha's teachings are very simple. His teachings included, life is full of suffering and sorrowfulness. He said this is the reality, isn't it? The moment we take birth, we start to cry, and the moment we die, everyone else around us start to cry. And in between, we cry for our loved ones, parents, children, gold, money, car, bungalow, caste, religion, and for so many things. It is full of sorrow. He then gave a reason for this, saying this sorrow is because of extreme desire that humans possess for money, land, property, or for anything. He then gave a solution to this. Avoid extreme desire of anything. For that, he asked people to follow certain paths like having the right knowledge, right speech, right action, etc. He also asked people to avoid extremes. Extremes like very happy or very sad. Instead, he asked people to follow that middle path where people are always calm and remain same, avoiding happiness or sorrow. This, he said, is the Madhyama Marga. Do you remember anyone by this virtue today or in today's world? Mahendra Singh Dhoni, isn't it? He's always calm, never too happy and never too sad. All the time he's like that. A wicket falls, he's like that. Someone hits a six, he is like that. Following the middle path, not falling to the emotions of the game. That's why he is considered one of the greats. Coming to Buddha, he always gave sermons in the local languages, Prakrit and Pali, and not in Sanskrit, as he believed it is important to teach people in a way they understand and not just the right teachings. So he spoke in mostly local languages wherever he went. He also was against the evils happening in the name of caste system. He discouraged expensive rituals and unwanted ceremonies. He asked people to do simple prayer with full of trust in God for salvation of the human being and asked people to avoid unnecessary rituals. He also asked them to avoid violence against human and animal life. He got a lot of following and soon he was followed by lakhs and lakhs of people. In 483 BCE, in Kusinagara, at 80 years of age, he died in one of the houses where he stayed as a guest, and that too on a full moon night. All the events in Buddha's life happened on a full moon day. The life of an extraordinary man with concern towards common men ended, but not his teachings. His teachings were popularized by his followers who formed a Sangha, which is an association of the followers who go from place to place and teach Buddha's ideas all through the year except in the rainy season when they sit in monasteries and learn Buddha's teachings that they have to teach others in future. New ideas slowly started to emerge within the Buddha's followers. The group of followers who believed that Buddha will take birth again and again and again and will solve people's problems. He may take the form of a lion, a rabbit, or a parrot, or a thief, or anybody. This form of worship within the followers is called Mahayana Buddhism. The other group of followers believed in no rebirth of Buddha and argued that Buddha never said that he would take birth again. This group of people are called Hinayana Buddhists. Both these groups of followers believed in Buddha and his teachings, and they are called Buddhists, and in general, and the teachings and practices that they carry out is referred to as Buddhism. The second part of the questioning against the later Vedic age society and the complex rituals come from Upanishadic thinkers. These thinkers composed ideas in the form of Upanishads, which literally mean sit down near the teacher. The Upanishads are in the form of dialogue between the student and the teacher, and when a student asks a question to the teachers explain his question through an example or an event or a story which relates to the question. These Upanishads mainly question about the existence of soul, life after death, transmigration of soul, necessity and importance of rituals, and many other things. They also stressed on the law of karma, that whatever actions we do, good or bad, the result of it will follow us and either help us or haunt us in this life and the next life. These Upanishads asked people to practice yoga and meditation for a peaceful life. These Upanishads are 108 in number, and they are the highest form of Indian philosophy. Let's see a few of them in what they deal with. Kathopanishad. It deals with the issue of or presence of soul and what happens to it after death. In this Upanishad, the dialogue between the student Nachiketa and god of death Yama arises. When Nachiketa asks Lord Yama what happens to the soul after death, to which Yama explains that the soul or the Atman never takes birth nor dies. It is neither originating from anybody nor becoming anybody. And he explains that the one who thinks he killed it and the one who thinks they got killed, Both don't understand the reality. The Atman is the smallest of the small and the greatest of the greats. The one who is free from everything sees the glory of Atma. This is one such complex philosophy about soul which can also be seen in Lord Krishna's Bhagavad Gita when he explains Arjuna about the purpose of action and waging the Mahabharata battle. The other Upanishads like Isopanishad talks about the idea of creation and happiness. These Upanishads have philosophical teachings on complex ideas such as the ones discussed above, and also on those that are as simple as donate food to the one who is hungry. As it goes, this is a dialogue in Chandogya Upanishad between two Brahmins who participate in a ritual and a beggar who comes to them asking them for food. The Brahmins foolishly refuse the hungry beggar's request for donation of alms. They ask him to leave, to which the beggar questions them as to who they were worshipping and offering food in the ritual, for which the Brahmins replied that they were worshipping the God who is a universal one. On listening this, the beggar questions, O Brahmins, you believe the God is universal and I am also one part of this universe, and by denying food to me, you are denying food to a part of your God, who is in everyone and everywhere. Stunned at this, they realize their mistake and offer food to the beggar and take good care of him, treating well. These teachings don't just remain teachings, they are universal and eternal. They carry a lot of meaning and purpose even today. Just like the beggar and the Brahmins, these Upanishads say that fortunately or unfortunately we are born to rich or poor, and if born in a family with good fortune, we should help those unfortunate ones who must have lost their legs or hands or some other part due to an accident, or born with deformities. We should help them with whatever we can. Upanishads say in these kind of deeds lies true happiness for mankind. The third part of this lesson deals with Jainism, in which the ideals to follow and ways to live to the followers are told by Tirthankaras, literally meaning teachers, who are 24 in number. These Jain Tirthankaras attained Kaivalya, or the ultimate knowledge, and they renounced the world. The word Jain comes from Sanskrit word Gnana, meaning knowledge. The first of these 24 Jain Tirthankaras is Rishabdev, or Adinath, who was a king belonging to the Ikshvaku dynasty and ruling the kingdom of Ayodhya. On one particular occasion, when Indra sends a celestial dancer to the king's court to dance, and when the dancer performing intense dance movements dies on the floor, and watching her die, Rishabdeva realizes the ultimate reality of life and becomes a monk, renouncing everything. From then onwards, for a year or so, without eating anything, he just continues to wander. He gains ultimate knowledge and he transmits it to his followers. Many believe that he taught men 72 types of arts and 64 types of arts to women. People also believe that he taught swordsmanship, writing skills, knowledge, agriculture techniques, trade and commerce, and craftswork. While renouncing, he distributed his empire to his children of both the wives. Ayodhya, or the northern parts of his empire, came to his elder son Bharata, and the southern parts come to his other son Bahubali. Bharata and Bahubali, in a quest of conquest over the kingdoms, cross each other and decide to fight. Bahubali is known to be a muscular prince with towering majestic personality, with broad shoulders and skillful in all the forms of warfare and fighting. Both brothers finally decide to fight, and in the battlefield Bahubali outshines Bharata in all forms of warfare and finally enters into a contest of wrestling. Bahubali, in the rage of anger, hits Bharata in such a fierce manner that one more punch he gives to Bharata, he will be no more. Though the contest is declared finished and won by Bahubali. At that moment, where he is about to hit his own blood brother, he realizes he punches one more. Kingdom stands under his feet, but his brother dies. He started to think deep. What is the use of such a kingdom which is won by spilling blood of his own brother? Then he leaves everything in renunciation and starts to meditate without any feeling of desire. Legend goes to say that Bharata ruled the empire from north to south, giving a name for India as Bharata. There are in fact many other kings by name Bharata who ruled this land. Now, Bahubali is the second Jain Tirthankara who is very famous in South India, especially in Karnataka. In places like Shravanabelgola, Gommateshwara, Kumbhoj, Karkhala and in many other places we see huge gigantic monolithic statues of Bahubali with 50 to 60 feet tall. The followers love him unconditionally and carry out milk offering ceremony, pouring milk on him every year. Like this, we have 24 Jain Tirthankaras who learned the reality of life and gained knowledge and preached it to their followers. The last and the 24th of them is Mahavira. By birth, he is also a Kshatriya born into Ikshvaku dynasty. At the age of 30, he left his home and practiced intense meditation for 12 years and gained Kaivalya Jnana, or the ultimate knowledge. He was a contemporary of the Buddha. His teachings were very simple and at the same time very harsh. They were practice absolute ahimsa. He asked people not to kill even insects. So, many Jains stopped practicing agriculture as it involved killing insects and microorganisms while ploughing the fields and pouring insecticides. Instead, they practiced trade and business. That's why most of the Jains in India that we see today are businessmen. He asked people to be honest to everyone. He also asked people to be kind to others. He asked people to always speak truth and asked people never to steal belongings of others. These teachings are very simple, isn't it? He explained that someone must have worked their entire life to earn something and must have developed an attachment over it, and stealing it would deprive that person of his emotional bonding and he goes through immeasurable pain. Such were his teachings. He also spoke in local languages and questioned the need of expensive rituals and asked people to lead a simple life. After his death, like in Buddhism, followers were divided into two groups. There were Shvetambaras who wear white clothes and Digambaras who do not wear anything. Jainism is one of the popular religions in India today.